All right, everyone. This video is just talking about my experience with the free weekend AI showdown. Um, it just ended literally as I started this. If I go back to my project, I have 1 hour left, but I'm sure this is not accurate. Um, this video is not to hate on Lovable at all. Um, I think Lovable is amazing. I just want to talk about the frustrations that I had with this weekend. These are probably expectations that I created myself that really has nothing to do with Lovable. Um, I mean, ultimately, it does have a lot to do with Lovable because they are the company and companies are supposed to manage expectations. But this is just, it's Father's Day, okay? And I've essentially lost most of my weekend working on a project. And because the expectations weren't set clearly. So I hope you're reading in between the lines. I'm not trying to blame Lovable. I'm going to continue to use Lovable. I am a paid member of 400 credits. Let's see if I go to upgrade. I am currently I'm paying $100 a month. So I am not I'm not a free user complaining about free stuff. Well, I guess I kind of am. But what my point is that my experience is a paid customer using their AI system. Okay. So I just want to talk through some of not really getting into what I was trying to build. I'm going to show you a little bit, not to show you what I'm building, but just to explain kind of like my frustrations over the past, 24, 30 hours. Because once they announced this, once I got this to my email, letting me know that the weekend was free, I canceled all my plans and said, "Hey, this is a great opportunity to get some free credits. My thing is about to renew soon. My plan is about to renew June 19th. Okay, so what's today? The 15th. So I'm gonna get 400 more credits, and I'm gonna continue to use this. Okay, but I was like, hey, I can get really far in this thing I'm building, right? The Giant Maker, we're all about digital marketing, and we're building a tool to help entrepreneurs. So this is super powerful experience for people like me who aren't coders, but for the past 20 years, I've worked with developers in all types of capacity. I've done everything but coding. I've came up with ideas. I came up with the screens, the UI, the user experience. I've come up with everything other than just the actual code. I've always had to work with developers. Then when no code became popular, right? Front end tools like Adalo and Glide and things like that, and then back end tools like Make, which used to be Integromat, Zapier, N8N. I use all of those. I've been using all of those since the Flowwise, you name it, I've used it. Okay, so I have some experience in the no code stuff, and I've created some pretty cool things. Uh, so I'm not jumping into this. I'm not a developer. I'm not a coder, but I'm not jumping into this totally blind. Okay, and I've gotten pretty far with something. I'm going to kind of show you some stuff. I've gotten pretty far with just the 400 credits they give me and um uh just being a paid customer, okay? The reason I'm kind of making this video is mainly to see if anybody else experienced what I experienced. Now, obviously it's gone, so I can't really show you, but you were okay. Now I can show you because it's still here. You were basically able to use for free these options, right? Google, Anthropic, OpenAI. And I'm sure everyone was trying to use Anthropic, and it was rate limited a lot, which is totally fine. I get that. You have to rate limit stuff. But what was happening is that the AI, this chat was dumb. It just was dumb. Okay. This thing, I have been stuck for the whole weekend. I've actually gone backwards. It's actually regressed and changed things in the application that were working before. Okay. Now this can happen, right? In my knowledge base, if I go to settings, hopefully I don't have to blur anything out. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to blur stuff out because it's like showing like codes and stuff like that. Um, so this is the amount of messages. So 455. I guess. I would imagine this is the paid messages. I could be wrong, and this is like probably total. So some of the free ones over the weekend. I'm trying to go to my knowledge base. I actually gave it knowledge that, and once I did this, this is not during this weekend. This is during just me using Lovable as a paid member. This actually helped. I basically told it, hey, I'm making these different tools. So there's going to be different tools that are going to complement with basically different features. The best way to think of it is like you log in and there's all these like little features that I'm calling them tools that basically entrepreneurs can use on a daily basis. Okay. So that's kind of the point of it. And I basically said, don't break the app. Try not to break the app. Try not to change UI, UX things, right? Stay consistent. And once I did that, it actually started to be smoother. Okay. But this weekend, it's changing every time it makes a change. It's changing UI. It's deleting buttons. It's forgetting what it did before. So it was basically like this weekend I was working with like basically like the fiber version of a coder versus like the Silicon Valley coder that I had before with Lovable. Now, this could be totally not Lovable's fault. This could be something totally different. This could also be just my experience. And if it's just my experience, then it could be one of those things where I'm just kind of like lost mentally. I don't know. Maybe I have mental illness. But the reason I'm bringing up the point that I'm a paid member is because I've experienced, I've given it so many messages and got really far. And this weekend, I went backwards, is what I'm trying to say. So I feel like I kind of can understand like the before and after, the comparison with using this tool. So let me just kind of, the issue I was working on. Okay. So first of all, I have this thing called GM chat. I'm trying to build in just basically a chat, right? Um, just a generic chat that allows you to use some of the stuff that you've built in our system, right? I don't want to get too deep into it. It's not really to compete with other like OpenAI or anything, because we're using like, you basically can bring your own API keys, right? Had it working. You bring your Google API key, you bring your OpenAI API key, your DeepSeek, and you can just basically have unlimited chat. But the benefit was all the stuff that you're going to be generating in here, you have access to. So it's just a convenience thing, right? We're trying to keep people in our system, and it's built for entrepreneurs and digital marketers. So there's a little bit of that baked into it too, right? Doesn't work anymore. Just destroyed it. Okay. I can't even show it to you because it just got rid of the tool. Obviously, it's probably here. It's like a routing thing. And just for the record, if you are a developer and you're like, this dude does not know what he's talking about, he's saying stuff wrong. That's the point. The point is that this is amazing for people who don't know how to speak like a developer. Like, honestly, if you're a developer, there's no point in you watching this video. This is for everyone who wants to build something that is not a developer. Okay. So that is first thing that broke. This system mapper is something that actually works. And this is the first tool I made. And this is to show you how far I got. Now, I use this system mapper in a course that I'm teaching. It's called Building a Giant course for the Giant Maker. And literally all of my examples are in here. This is like a mind map thing. But so if I go to view system maps, let's see if it broke it. If I go, okay, here we go. So I give you a perfect example. Digital marketing system. Okay. So this is basically something that I built from scratch from this system. It's amazing. It works. I can teach a lesson and show people different aspects. I can upload images into here. I can have all my slides in here. It's basically a canvas to connect things. I can change how these the I can turn it into the dash lines. I can change it to um the flowy lines, the Manhattan lines. I can change the arrow connection. I can get rid of the arrow connection. I can do all this stuff. Each one of these things has a lot of customization, these little nodes. Um, I can add icons. I can change the colors. I can add text. Here's some floating text down here that I just added it and see it that it was down there. Let's go ahead and delete this. This is a work in progress, but it's working. I'm actually using it right now, and our course is going to come out, and you're going to see me going through all these lessons. This is amazing. So this has already benefited me that I built this whole working system in this whole thing. Oh, I didn't mean to zoom in like that. So my point, the reason I'm saying this is because I've gotten really far. I've gotten really far using this platform. Okay. Now let me show you the other thing. Let me show you where I was stuck at. Okay. So we have this thing called a business blueprint. I'm not going to get into it because it's kind of proprietary based off our system. I don't want to show you the back end too much, but I think people like to see this stuff. All right. So this is what you're going to be able to generate. Okay. You're actually going to be able to generate a business blueprint. This is going to help any entrepreneur who either has a business idea and you want to do like a ton of research and you want the AI to kind of act as your consultant. Okay. And give you a complete report that you can share with other people and you can export as a PDF. Okay. So you can share a link. People will be able to click through this. It'll just be read only, or you can export a PDF. Okay. So this is basically kind of what I've been working on. Okay. So I've gotten all this done with the Lovable credits. Okay. All of this done was with the Lovable credits, not through this weekend. Okay. So it's really cool. It talks about your brand summary. It's and obviously this is like a sample version, but this was generated with some AI, right? That's the whole point of this, right? So this is just the goal is to make a better demo version, right? And it's a static demo version. It's like it would never say that. But because we want to output more than just this stuff, right? But my point is this is the structure that we built. It's actually doing research. Like it literally is doing research. It found some brand examples that you can go, people that are similar in your space, breaking down digital marketing systems. So your website structure, funnel architecture, all that, right? And this is just MVP. Okay. I love this. This is exactly what I've been dreaming about for the past 10 years. Okay. This is really great for us because it can be self-service, meaning that we can have people go in, do their business blueprints, and we can help a ton of people using AI and using our frameworks for all these modules, right? This isn't just AI going out and coming up with stuff. We have a very specific framework that we believe and we've seen work for multiple businesses. So you can get the Giant Maker framework. Basically, essentially, the goal is to be for free at first, right? You bring your own API keys, which are easy to get, and then you can generate as much of these as you want, right? We really want to help people, okay? The other idea or the use case for this is we are consultants. So we can generate this for a client that we're working with, and then we can come in and edit and add to and refine and give it that human touch, right? So we can generate these to get us started, and then we can go through and add sections and things like that. So this is a tool for us to consult for clients, and it's a tool for self-service, okay? So I've gotten really far. This weekend, let me show you kind of what, and obviously all this is going to be fixed, right? There's nothing that stops me. Okay. I'm unstoppable. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that's just my mentality. This is not going to stop me. I'm going to continue to use Lovable. I just realized that I just have to use my paid credits because it feels like their system is better. Whatever the Lovable thing, because I had 5 credits yesterday, right? So you get 5 credits on a daily basis. Even when you've used all your paid credits, you get 5 daily credits. I use them every day. I come here every day. I used them during the free thing, and it was night and day experience with their AI. Whatever system they use, it knows more about my code, my app. It knows more. When I was using one of these ones, it was like I had to like remind it of so many different things, and it would go back and try to do the same fixes over and over again, and it would just say the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, we just tried that, it didn't work. And I'm trying to like, so now I'm hyper focusing it. I'm like, I can just show you some of I'm not gonna show you none of this stuff. This is, for example, it's like, hey, add your API key, your OpenAI API key. I literally did this, like one of the first steps I did was did this. And it asked me, it popped this little thing up. I've added my key, said, thanks for the key. It told me about an hour ago. I'm trying to see if it can tell me when. I'm trying to see like when. Okay, so 14. So I think the time zone is weird, whatever the time zone is, because I believe this is what, 2:44. So yes, this is 2:44. So it's 3:15. So this is today. It says, I can see you have an API key right. No, that's not where I'm trying to go. It says, where is it at? Looking at the edge function, I can see the business overview summary job is failing because the API key isn't properly stored in the database. Okay, so this is at 2:43. That's one of the first things I did during this free event was add an API key. And it never, I was like, why is this thing failing? And it'll make more sense in a second. Let me actually go to, so if I go to start a business blueprint, the UI in this is old UI. So we're going to make sure this looks very similar to the business blueprint output, but just want to show you. So the whole point of this, and you can't really see these toggles. It says, let AI handle this. We'll make all that more visible. We'll fix all this, but you're basically just putting in information, and there's essentially business context, and there's 5 pillars that we ask you about. And the whole point of it is, if you might know everything possibly to know in your mind about your business, or about the business you want to start, or the current business you have, and you just want to pivot, you want to see what this thing's going to do. The whole point of this is to, if you have a lot of information, you can add a lot of information. If you don't, just say, let AI handle this. Then you could give it some notes. Hey, I'm gonna let you handle this, but I don't want any Silicon Valley type names, or I want a name. If you come up with a name for my business, use my name, and you give it the notes. Hey, business description. Obviously, you want to give it a business description, but you might say, I don't know how to describe a business. You might say that in the notes. Hey, this is going to be something in the insurance space. I don't really have an idea. You just basically tell it. It's just, you just be a human. That's the whole point of this. If you don't know this stuff, and we're going to expand on this, by the way, let AI handle it. Let AI handle it. That's the whole point of this, right? And this is controlled by every person. Okay, so let me at least give it something. So, business description, dog poop picker upper. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, let's not let AI handle that one. I'm only doing this just to show you kind of what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'm gonna go through and complete all these. I'm not even gonna say let AI handle this, because the AI directive in the back, right, the agent, right, the AI agent that's running this has a direction to, if it's left blank, treat it as let AI handle this. This toggle might be one of those things that just makes the person feel better. I don't know. We're still working out all this stuff. But my point is that we ask a lot of stuff just to get like a baseline, okay? And sorry if you hear the dishwasher. I have a dishwasher running, and this dishwasher's pumping water out that little hole thing that comes into the sink. So I apologize. I'll try to do some audio editing to keep it out of it. And if you can't hear it, it's because the audio editing worked, okay? So now I hit complete the distribution pillar, which it should say just like generate, but whatever. So I hit generate. It says inputs, save, and now it takes me to this whole system, right? And I'm gonna show you something that you guys won't be able to see once this comes out if you use this. Some of you guys are just here because I'm talking about Lovable, which is great. That's also great too. Show you what you can do. Okay. So this is what you're supposed to see. This kept changing every single time. I would say, hey, it's at 0%. It's not working. It's not showing the progress. It would basically say, oh no, the progress is there. Like it's just not showing you actually what's happening. So then we try to work on that. Show me what's actually happening in the back end, right? What's the point of it being on 5%, but it's showing me 0%? What's the point of showing me it's on 10% when it's really on 20%? Okay. Um, spoiler alert, it never got past 2%. Okay. It never would work. And I'm gonna explain to you exactly why it wouldn't work. Okay. So, um, so this is not, just so you know, it's not working. It's going to get stuck here. I had to put in this thing where it automatically advances after 3 minutes because I'm just trying to get it to get to the OpenAI part. And this will make sense in a second. Once I show you the steps, when I show you the admin panel, I'm just trying to force it to get to the OpenAI part to see if the OpenAI thing worked. And then we find out that the OpenAI API key was just never in the system. So, and I kept asking it that, let's check the OpenAI connection. Let's check the OpenAI connection. Let's check. And it just was like, yeah, seems like it's fine. It's not the issue. It's not OpenAI. Then it tells me that there's no OpenAI API key. So for the past 30 hours, that part was never going to work. But there's a step right before that. So let me show you. This is how this thing works. So this is a little bit behind the scenes. This is an admin thing to help these. This is mainly for troubleshooting. So there's a user input compression. So when somebody inputs that form, right, puts all the information, let AI use it as other ideas, what it does is it basically compresses that and puts it into, like, we're calling them capsules, so that it could pass that down throughout all the steps so we could keep the context, right? Then it does global research, okay? Global research uses perplexity. So it's creating some queries in a search and perplexity based off the information that was given to it, right, by the user to go actually get some real data on the internet, right? We want to support the stuff we're going to say that we're going to deliver to people, okay? Then once it gets that research and it has a user's information, then each one of these AI subsections, this is business overview, oh my gosh, it has business overview multiple times. Oh yeah, I know why. I apologize. There are subsections. Okay, now I already knew this. Okay, it's down here. It's business overview summary, business overview mission, business. Okay, it basically, if I go back to, let's see. I'll go back to it in a second because I already know what's going to happen. Actually, let me just pop this out. There we go. And let's go to, I'm going to show you because this is, okay, let's go look at view. So you'll see that there's subsections. So like business overview, you have executive summary. And what you'll notice is that things don't match, right? It doesn't match. In the back end, it's named something different. That is another thing we're trying to fix. I just abandoned that because I'm assuming that it knows what it's talking about. But anyway, you have all these different subsections, right? So AI will go generate all of this. Then it will pass that information down to generate this. Then it will pass that information to generate this. And the point is that the concept I'm calling this is one consultant rather than a team of consultants. And what I mean by that is if I am a consulting company and I say, hey, we got this client, they want to know this about their business and this is what they're trying to do. I'm going to break that up to a team of consultants and they're going to kind of do independent research and then we're going to compile something back later, but it might be disjointed because they're not using the findings to, like, there's like things that are like dependent on other data, right? So you're going to get, it still could be a great report, but it's going to be like multiple consultants gave you different stuff, right? Rather than one person does all the research and they're using all the context that they have for the dependencies of the other parts of the research. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So it's like one consultant versus like a team of consultants, right? So that's how the system is generated. I want to show you one thing really quick too. Let's go to make.com. Let me log in. I hope I don't blur stuff. It's one of those things where I hate editing videos. This is the reason I use OBS. Okay. is I hate editing videos, and I feel like I'm gonna have to like blur stuff out. We'll see. And I hate watching my videos back because I sound stupid sometimes. Okay, so let's go to my scenarios. Let's go to, wait, I'm in one of my clients' things. Okay. All right, let's go to my scenarios. Let's go, because I shut all these stuff. Actually, these are on. Let's go to venture base. Let's go to, I think this one is turned off. I turned it off because it just was like I didn't need it to be running anymore. So this is essentially my first stab at this. And this works, by the way. So I'm using Adalo as a backend. I actually can show you. I'm just showing you, like, kind of like give you some context. Plug in pro. Oh, I know what it is. I'm sorry. I don't even know my own stuff. Plug in profit. Okay. So just want to show you really quick. So let's go back to newest. Okay. So I have 522 business ideas. Okay. And if I click on these, I can play the audio.
Imagine a business that helps busy parents.
Okay. It just breaks down a business idea. If I click into it, it breaks it down and it has all these different sections that it's done. Okay. So what it does is this generates this, and then it generates a PDF. And this, it's like 27 pages. Okay. So this, I add a business idea in a description to Adalo. It waits. This would run every hour. It would go find a business idea, and it would basically do all these different things. So it would name the business, create a hook. And the reason that these things, if I show you in here, that's what these are. This is the name of the business. This is the hook right here. Okay. Then it does research, and it does research at different phases. It comes up with the emojis. So choose 3 emojis that work. Bam, 3 emojis, or 2. I think I said 2 to 4 emojis. So these are all different actions, right? Then I'm using DeepSeek because it's cheap as hell. Okay. And this is just a proof of concept, right? This is me trying to build this blueprint system. So create the emojis, do more research on the problem. So this is actually taking the information that the user put in and the overview. So this is generating an overview from the user. And if I go in here, like you'll see, like in the system, if I go down here for original description, this is the idea that I gave it, which I'm the user, obviously. And it's taken everything I said into consideration across the whole thing. So it's passing this context down, my original idea, even though it's created a business overview. If I go to this problem research, it takes my original idea. So it still keeps my original idea as the user, but it's also adding, see, this says overviews blinking up here. It takes the overview and it's basically telling Perplexity to use this information to create a query so we can do some research on the problem. And then we take that information from Perplexity and we generate a problem section. And I do this, I'm using Perplexity a lot. And this actually is super cheap. It's like super cheap to run this whole thing. Then it brings it all back and then it puts it back in Adalo. And that's what this thing is. Okay. Then I have other automations that are like, once that's done, I'll go back just to show you. Once that's done, I have some RAG stuff where it's taking that and it's using N8N and it's like creating a RAG database so that you talk to AI and it understands all the businesses. This one creates an audio. This one does some stuff. This one creates an image that I abandoned. This one creates keywords for the search. So the search, in here, it's going off of keywords. So if I always talk about the dog poop business, it's just like, is it gone? Did I delete it? I might have deleted it. No, I didn't. Yeah, it doesn't. Listen, this is a proof of concept. It worked before. I don't know why it's not working now. I don't care. And then it creates a PDF and it compiles it all together and it creates one of these things where you have the PDF, you have all the sections, you have the emojis, you have the audio that plays.
Imagine a business.
Right. So not saying I'm not like an amazing coder or nothing, but I know how to put things together is my point. Like I know how to do some stuff. Okay. Um, this is what I was trying to get it to do, just like in a little bit more sophisticated way. Okay. Just trying to get it to do this in a more sophisticated way. So if I come over here, this is what this is supposed to be. So instead of it being a business idea, it's your business idea. So it could be you trying to generate a business idea that's more visual. It's more visual. It's more organized. We're breaking down primary persona, secondary persona, emerging personas, audience objections, false beliefs, how to address them. This is like some other like audience insights. So we're really using Perplexity to do a lot of research, and then we're putting it together in a really nice way for people, right? So the frustration comes that it never I never could get it to use Perplexity, or I take that back because I'm wrapping this video up. I never could get it to consistently, and it's all the UI is off, right? Let me go down to one of these queued, because these are drafts. If I go to this queued one, I never can get it to like show on the front end. See, this says 1%. Show on the front end what's actually happening. Every time I come in here, the countdown starts, when the countdown should just be in the system. But I had to force it to do that because it wouldn't automatically connect to the next thing. But it was. The Perplexity stuff was working. There are actual reports it generated for me. So the part that's making me frustrated is that it says global research is done. It says it's completed. It will never go to this next part right here. I have a timer that forces it because it won't automatically do it. So after 3 minutes, it should force to this first OpenAI section. I've been working on this for the past 30 something hours, just trying to get it. I tried everything to get it just to send the information to OpenAI and just get a response. And it will never do it. I was dropping in all the OpenAI documentation. I was dropping in everything. And the reason this is frustrating is because my GM chat, which is broke now, if I go to one of these things over here, so this is like an old version that's live that I use, right? So this is like an old version that, because I'm scared. This doesn't even have the blueprint in it because I'm using this to do my course. So you see, even this is different because this is an older version. Is GM chat broke here? Nope. GM chat is probably broke now because it broke it. But GM chat, if I go to, it might be broke. My point is it wasn't before. If I go to hello, how can I assist you today? Tell me a poem. Oh my gosh. Poem about fathers. It's Father's Day today. All right. So I'm using DeepSeek, and I'm gonna explain that in a second. What I originally was doing. Okay. A father's love. Okay, so you could tell this is going to DeepSeek. This is actually working. Okay. The problem with this, the thing that's frustrating, is that I got all this working with Lovable's paid API. I'm sorry, paid chat. Okay. Now I know they use Claude, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not here as an expert, but my point is that whatever they're doing is different than whatever we did this weekend with Anthropic, Google, and all that stuff. Okay. When I originally started this, I said, let's use DeepSeek. We already have a working connection with DeepSeek, and I'm asking it as an expert, should I use another API key? And it said, yeah, let's use another API key. So I did that, and it literally cannot get the Edge function to work. And I know it's different. It's probably a different thing, but I was just so desperate in the first couple hours that I was like, let's just look at how the GM chat works and how we're able to send something to DeepSeek and get something back. And can we just get this first section just to send something back? I don't care if we're going to change the whole system. I just need to see progress. And it basically said, hey, we should basically, OpenAI is more stable. We should use OpenAI. So I was like, okay, let's just use OpenAI because I know OpenAI and DeepSeek, the way you send stuff is very similar. I said, okay, let's just use it. And I never got it to work. This first, look at all the things it has to run through. Now, obviously, these are all the same type of thing. Like this is like very similar to like this, where it's like sequential processing so that we're able to like build on the knowledge previous. But the whole weekend, I've been stuck here. Perplexity worked, right? And it would do research. And then it looked like it would fill out the sections. Like when I say this, it literally had data in the sections that was unique to my idea, right? So I think it actually did work with DeepSeek. And because again, like I showed you, I got it working over here, right? It's coming in as markdown, but that's okay. We'll fix that. And here's what I realized. It did not know what was going on. This is probably the biggest thing. There was a disconnect. It seemed like it didn't know what it did, what it had did previously. It didn't understand how it structured things. And I'm totally reliant on this, right? And I know that's probably the problem, but most of the YouTube videos I watch and kind of how this thing has been promoted to me is that, hey, you really can get a lot done just being a maker, right? Now, am I trying to build $1 million SaaS with this? No, we're really just trying to service our community, right? This is not trying to do, this is just like more of a tool to help our community. We have other stuff we offer. We have software that we didn't build, that we promote. This is to help people move to our software that, again, we just white label, right? It's called the Giant Maker Operating System. It's a white label of Go High Level, right? We're trying to bring tools and stuff to our community to help them build amazing businesses. So if I could just wrap up, I know this is probably like too much, and there's probably like a better way to do this, which is typically what you do. You start and then you figure out new ways. But all I was trying to do is just model this. That's been working. It's worked 522 times, okay? Where it just would run the Perplexity stuff, run the DeepSeek, and it would just work. And then it would populate this automatically. And I would just load it with a bunch of business ideas, and it would just do this every time. It would go get actual numbers, literally actual numbers from research, and then it would put it together in some sort of way. And I thought this was just too much, too complicated, too much information. So we were just like, hey, let's make it more visual, right? Let's kind of like help people in a, let it look pretty but simple. But we still want to use Perplexity, and I want to use DeepSeek, and I just cannot get this to work. So we will get there. This is, again, not really hating on Lovable. This is just the expectations that I had. It just is heartbreaking because I spent so much time, and I'm so big on time. I've basically lost time, and I blame myself for having high expectations. But those three tools, those three LLMs, it just, the ones that they gave us, it did not work. And I went backwards. I literally went backwards. This is all, and this whole thing, debug panel. Here's the thing about this. This is just so I can see what it's doing, because I can't even trust what it's saying. And it's basically saying that these two things are done, and this is where it's failing. And if I go up here, it's basically saying that I don't even know what it's working on. Every single time I go to one of these I have to go to the queued ones. Is there another queued ones? Here's a new one I just did. Or maybe this is the same one. Yeah, it's like I can't force it to the next job. It's like I'm not gonna click all this stuff. It just started giving me so much stuff. It's like, here, enhance manual trigger. It's like I don't even know what to do with none of this stuff now. It's like so many things that are like overlapping. It's like, look at all these buttons. All these are buttons that will do something. It just, again, Lovable, when I first was when I use these 400 credits, and I actually use more than this, right? Because I get the 5 daily ones. It wasn't doing dumb stuff like this. So yeah, this weekend was a waste. I'm kind of frustrated. So I guess I'll see you in the comments if this video gets pushed anywhere. If it doesn't, it'll just be me complaining to the internet and no one sees it. It's totally fine. I don't care. So all right. Enjoy your Father's Day. Peace.